these builds are going to be strictly at its best on the 1v1 court. So just understand that they're not going to be bad for 2v2, 3v3 pro and stuff like that, but they're going to be at its best on the 1v1 court. So just understand that. But pretty much in this video, I'm going to be talking about each one. I'm going to try to explain exactly how to build it correctly. So anyway, let's get right into the video. So position, of course, point guard. You want to go point guard for this type of build, and you know, with the playmaking and shooting pie chart. And of course, after that, you can go to pure speed pie chart. I'm going to be as fast as possible with this type of build. And now I'm going to do all the attributes and explain them after. Alright, so these are the attributes and badges you should go with, guys. You get 1 finishing, 25 shooting, 17 playmaking, and 8 defensive badges. The finishing is not crazy, but it's good enough. All you have to do when you're using this build on offense is when they try to guard you really high, you rim run to the paint, you take the layup or dunk. And if they pretty much stack off, you have 25 shooting badges, which means you should be greening very consistently. And of course, you have decent playmaking, nothing too crazy. Once again, this is for 1v1 court, so you don't really need too much pass accuracy. I wouldn't recommend putting up post moves because you really won't be in a post with this build. So I just think it makes more sense to get playmaking badges with pass accuracy rather than post moves. Because if you do use this build for anything other than 1v1 court, having pass accuracy is gonna be a lot more important than post moves. That's just my opinion. But then go down to defense. Obviously you want max interior defense because you probably will be guarding some kind of like slasher or pure red that has contact dunk. So you want some interior defense. And you also want some decent amount of defensive badges just in case. Perimeter defense is max, our quickness is max, steal is max, block is a little bit up just for badges, and of course you want the defensive rebound max just so you can get a defensive rebound once you do get a stop on the defense and stuff like that. So anyway, this is in my opinion the best way to get the attributes done. So anyway, body shape does not really matter. I'm gonna go defined, and then for height, in my opinion, 6'5", or 6'6", or 6'7" is all really good. I wouldn't recommend going 6'8" because you do lose a lot to your 3-point, but in my opinion, I think 6'5" is really good because you have a really good 3-point still a really good ball handle. You're tall enough so you can somewhat stop taller players like 6'8" and 6'9". I wouldn't recommend always trying to stop him with that, so try to be as consistent on offense as possible, because remember, this is not a defender build. He's not going to get you a stop every single play. You got to be very smart what you do on offense, and you also have to be very smart what you do on defense. You don't want to be jumping too much, because if you jump, that gives them easy layups and stuff like that. So just be smart when using this build, because it's not the best defensively, but it is going to be probably the best offensively because it has a really good ball handle, also has a really good 3-point, so you're able to get the games over real quick if you know how to shoot. So 6'5", in my opinion, is the best bet. Weight all the way down. You want to be as fast as possible. Wingspan min, because you want that high 3-pointer and also really good ball handle. And after that, of course, you know, with the sharpshooter takeover, because it just makes the most sense. So as you guys can see, get playmaking shot creator, pretty common build. I don't recommend the other takeovers because one, playmaker takeover is not bad, but it's only really going to help you for passing and snatching ankles. And yes, snatching ankles is fun, but is it going to help you win a lot? Probably not. Shot creator is also not bad because you can just hop jumper and snap their ankles too, but is it going to help you a lot with shooting threes and getting the games over quick? Probably not. So in my opinion, I think sharpshooter is your best bet. It is going to help you score the most efficiently. So anyway, let's get to the second build. All right, for the next build, we're going with the point guard position. Again, this build's more so for like slashers and rim runners. This is actually one of the better kind of builds for rim running and stuff like that, but it's gonna be that slashing and defending pie chart one if I can find it. It's gonna be this one right here. All right, so for the physical profile, in my opinion, you should go speed and vert. It just makes the most sense. Having a super high speed with also a high vert is gonna be very beneficial to you. Having super high speed is actually not that bad either, so you can go either pure speed or speed and vert. In my opinion, you should go speed and vert. And then now I'm gonna do all the attributes and explain them after. So these are attributes and badges I would go with, guys. Get 25 finishing, 1 shooting, 9 playmaking, and 22 defensive badges. This build is extremely good at defending and finishing. Most of the time, and I mean most of the time, people are just gonna sit in the paint on you and try to just make you try to do a dumb shot by throwing it up or something like that. But if you know how to finish with a build like this, you're gonna have a lot of success this year, because finishing this year is really good. But overall, this build is extremely good. I don't have post look max because I don't think you need to do post looks with this build. Obviously, it's going to help a lot if you verse someone that is just clamping you up in the paint. You have it up a little bit, so if you ever do need to do it, you still can do it. No shooting because you don't need shooting with this build. A little bit of playmaking just so you can get those basic badges like candles for days, quick for step, and of course you have your defense max just so if you ever do want to use this build for 3v3 or 2v2, it can still be a viable center build. So anyway, now we're into the next part, which is going to be body shape. If you guys are going to try to use this for like other things like 2v2, 3v3, then I definitely would go burly. If not, defined or whatever is fine. And then for height, 6'7" and 6'8" is really good. If you guys are gonna be using this build for more of a just 1v1 purpose, 6'7" is gonna be your best bet. If you guys are gonna be trying to split it, so you go sometimes 1v1 court, sometimes go 2v2 or 3v3, then go 6'8" just so you can set screens a little bit better. But in my opinion, 6'7" is not bad. I've seen multiple people use a 6'7" as a center and still be successful with it. So that's what I'm gonna go with. Weight does not really matter in my opinion. If you're gonna be using it as a 6'7", you should go all the way down. Now if you're gonna be using the 6'8" version, I would go around 200 to 220. In that range you can pick whatever you want. I think 219 is like the good spot, but don't quote me on that. But for the 6'7", I would go min. You want as much speed as possible. You don't need strength. All you need is speed and vert. That's all you really need for this build anyway. But then of course wingspan, you go max. You want as much like finishing and defending as possible, so that's what I would go with. And of course for takeovers, Both of these are really, really good. I think Slash is gonna help you a lot more because you can still get stops without lock takeover. But if you need to like paint cram, just paint mash as much as possible, you're gonna need Slasher to help you finish at the rim. So that's what I would go with. And Lockdown obviously is gonna help you just get stops. But I think Slasher is gonna be your best bet with this build. You should get some type of Slasher. Don't quote me on this. A two-way finisher is what you're gonna get. So yeah. All right, so now we're getting into very last build, which is the best 1v1 court build in the whole entire game. It's super OP. But anyway, let's get right into it. Alright, so now we're into the very last build, which is hands down the best 1v1 court build because of how OP the post hooks are. So for the position, of course, you can go center, go continue, and you're gonna go with the pure blue pie chart, which is pretty much a pure slasher, but you're not gonna be a slasher more, you'll be more of a post scorer. But anyway, for the physical profile, I'm gonna go all the way down to the very last one. Pick this one, gives you a lot of strength, and that's what you want with a post scorer. And I'm gonna do all the attributes and explain them after. Alright, so these are attributes and badges you get, guys. You get 30 finishing, 3 shooting, 3 playmaking, and 11 defensive badges. You have maxed out close shot just so you can do all those close shots. You don't need crazy driving lane because you'd be surprised how many times you don't do a driving lane on a 1v1 court with a post score. Driving dunk is up all the way because you do actually want to like dunk the ball when you are trying to run into the paint. Standing dunk, of course, is max, so you can just be dominant in the paint. And of course, your post hook is max, so you can just post hook everybody's life away. And of course, no mid range, no 3-point. You're not gonna be shooting too much. Free throw and post weight is just to get the 3 shooting badges to help you shoot post hooks more consistently. And of course, post moves is going to be maxed just so you don't get ripped in the post. Interior defense, block, offensive rebound, and defensive rebound is all maxed. Those are the more important stuff for your build, and also gives you a lot of defensive badges. You don't need steal, don't need lateral quickness, and you also don't need perimeter defense. It is not going to help you very much. Everybody knows this about centers. None of these they get are really high for centers, so you don't really need it. But anyway, body shape, of course, Burley, you want to be as big as possible. And of course, 7'3", it's going to help a lot with post hooking because no one's going to be able to contest you. And that's super OP, but you know, it is what it is. And then for weight, of course, you can go all the way up. You want to be as big as possible, you want to be as strong as possible, you want to back down everybody in the paint. You want to be just absolutely a monster in the paint. So of course, wingspan, you're going to go max. It's going to help with just getting rebounds, post hooking, and stuff like that. And of course, you're going to go with the post takeover because it's the most dominant one. And of course, you're going to get a paint beast. Pretty common build. Everybody knows about the paint beast. Another really good post score build is a 3-level score. I would recommend going to check out Giuseppe Vuitton's build video. He does a lot of post scoring, but this is, in my opinion, one of the better builds to just completely dominate the 1v1 court with. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and peace out.